It is Thursday Night Football on TSN. Welcome as we get this week started.
If you didn't know, now you know.
How good is that?
Waggle's not always downhill, Chris. Just like that.
It's a Thursday night at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Hey, nice bucket. Yeah. Good young fan. And a good younger fan. And they all want to see the Eskimos win. Okay, well, maybe the younger one hasn't thought that out quite. I don't know what they were thinking right there, but that's kind of cool. Mike Riley, he's on pace for over 6,000 yards passing, but his team, more importantly, needs wins. They've lost 3 straight. Big one back home tonight, coming off a loss in Ottawa. And Kevin Glenn, Alouettes offense struggling as well, relying on the veteran QB to get them going again as they were 2 weeks ago against Saskatchewan before losing to the BC Lions last week. It is Week 8. We're getting it started here. Thursday Night Football, presented by The Brick. Welcome, Rod Smith, along with the panel of Milt Stiegel and Matt Dunnigan. Yes, 2 teams struggling, both at 2 and 4. You got the Alouettes on pace for a 6-12 season. That's what they had last year. That's not what they're used to in Montreal. The Grey Cup champion Eskimos have lost 3 straight. They've lost 4 times. Guys, that's as many as they lost all of last year. Which one of these teams needs this win more?
Well, both teams need to win, but I think these Alouettes, they need it more than the Eskimos. There's a lot of turmoil going on within that locker room.
Seems to be.
Some things that we may not know about.
Right now.
And if they lose this game, if they go out and they stink it up, it's going to really blow up. And you may need to see some changes with these Alouettes.
It's going to take a lot of leadership in that locker room to keep things together if they don't turn it around tonight against the Eskimos. But, Rod, to your point, the Eskimos have lost 3 in a row. 3 of the 4 losses that they've had have been at Commonwealth. They can't lose 4 in a row. That's unheard of if you're an Edmonton Eskimo. Once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo. That type of mentality, brotherhood of the nest, the Eskimos, man, that means you never lose back-to-back games. They've lost 3 in a row. They need to turn around big time there because that whole fan base is not used to what's going on right now with this football team. They're getting beat at their own game right now. Last year, the whole mantra was play fast and physical. I don't see that, particularly from the defense. And you know that Montreal is going to bring it. Yes. It's going to be one heck of a fight because both these teams are desperate.
It's going to be a physical game.
Yes,
both of these quarterbacks need to put on their big boy pads.
Riley's patchwork together already.
Yeah, they're going to take some
Week
hits.
8.
They're going to take some hits. And I think whichever defensive line plays the better game, that's the team that's going to win this game.
Yeah, I like what Suit said, though, at the beginning of the show. Justin Sorensen's back at center. That should help out that O-line.
Riley needs some protection. Chris Cuthbert had talked about the fact that these teams haven't missed the playoffs in the same year since 1971. It's early. It's only a third of the way through. They're both on the outside looking in. The Eskimos looking out, coming up to the field to get ready with the kickoff at Commonwealth coming up very soon at Thursday Night Football, presented by
ridiculous. See you on the highlight reel.
Commonwealth now. Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Rod. Gorgeous night for football in the Alberta capital as we head to the middle third of the CFL season. Kickoff Week 8 with a clash of 2 and 4 teams, the Alouettes and Eskimos.
Lots of weapons on the field tonight. On the marquee are 3 of the top 6 receivers, starting with the Darius Bowman in the number 2 spot. His partner, Darrell Walker, a great 1-2 punch for the Edmonton Eskimos, and targets for Mike Riley. On the other sideline is the 6th-ranked receiver in the league, Deron Carter, with 3 straight 100-yard games for the Alouettes.
Both victories for Jim Pop's Alouettes this season have come against Western Division opponents. They're trying to snap a 4-game losing streak head-to-head against the Eskimos. While on the other sideline, Jason Moss has been focused on better execution this week. His Eskimos trying to put the brakes on a 3-game losing streak and improve a 1-3 record at home on the brick field at Commonwealth. There's Anthony Farah, the new kicker for the Montreal Alouettes, All-American with the Texas Longhorns. He gets the call in place of Boris Beatty, who has struggled mightily of late. So Farah, who was in BC's camp last year, kicks it off. We're underway in Edmonton. And it will be Kenzel Doe with the football, met quickly by veteran special teamer Daryl Townsend, quickly downfield. And Mike Riley, who had his streak of 300-yard games snapped last week in Ottawa, leads the offense out.
Yeah, over 2,000 yards passing in the first third of the season. Nice touchdown to interception ratio. And Mike Riley, although he's played well and is making 300-yard games routine, he's taken a lot of hits in the last 3 games. 8 sacks in the last 3, 4 in the first 3.
Didn't throw a touchdown pass last week, his lowest passing total of the season. Comes out throwing here, and it's Corey Watson with the catch. Just 4 catches in the last 2 weeks for the veteran Canadian receiver.
There's in the backfield for Mike Riley be John White. Started all the games this season, all 6 of them. There's the big 2 in the receiving core, Darrell Walker and Darius Bowman, along with Chris Getzlaff and Nate Kuhorn. And then the big change with getting Justin Sorensen back in the middle and moving Simeon Rotier back to his spot at guard should help in that protection area.
Watson got 5, 2nd and 5. Riley out of the pocket, takes off, and has a first down up close to the 45-yard line. 12-yard run for Riley, who has not run as much this season.
Yeah, I think Riley saw that Bear Woods in the middle of that Montreal defense was dropping out of there and trying to pick up the receivers crossing. He goes across to Nate Kuhorn, just kind of oversteps that and opens up a running lane for 13.
Bear Woods and Winston Venable on the tackle, and now to the ground, and John White with a carry has 5 to the 50.
Right now, the strength of this Montreal defense is their front 7. Of course, John Bowman, Napton and Bowman off the edge, awful tough to block. There's a linebacking core with Bear Woods in the middle and 3 rookies in the secondary against Darrell Walker and Darius Bowman. We're going to watch those matchups.
Yeah, no Billy Parker this week on the 6-game disabled list. The blue back there in the secondary. 2nd and 5, and a first down grab for Kuhorn at midfield. Eskimos have been slow out of the gate this year and are putting together first downs on this opening drive.
Yeah, talking yesterday to Mike Riley and some of those Eskimo players about this 3-game losing streak, and they said, you know, they understand the sense of urgency. You don't want to win 4 straight, but no one's panicking at this point in the season, and off to a good start in this one.
See the graphic? The Eskimos, the lowest scoring first quarter team against the stingiest on defense, and that one almost picked off Ethan Davis on the corner as Riley was hit as he got rid of the football.
Yeah, Winston Venable off the edge again. Noel Thorpe, defensive coordinator for Montreal, is going to give you a lot of different looks, and this is just the kitchen sink on the line of scrimmage, and who's coming and who's not, who's going to drop. Straight shot for Venable on Mike Riley. That one hurt.
He just keeps on taking punishment, doesn't he? Jump there that had DeAnthony Batiste move. Bear Woods said, should it go against the Eskimos? But it looks like it's going to be offside Montreal.
Riley reminded me.
Offside. Montreal number 48. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Reminded me yesterday when we talked that protection is the responsibility of the entire offense, not just the offensive line, and said that, you know, sometimes there will be a free man like we just saw with Winston Venable. And when that happens, it's up to Riley and the receivers to get the ball out of there.
So it's now 2nd and 5 after the penalty. Good protection, open receiver, first down. Darrell Walker has his 46th catch of the year, and he ate up Montreal in his first 2 meetings last season.
You can see that sense of urgency in this Eskimo team at home. Matt Dunnigan mentioned it in the pregame show. They've lost 2 of their 3 in the 3-game losing streak here at Commonwealth. Almost unheard of over the last couple of years, and certainly through their history. They're playing with a sense of purpose in this first drive.
Walker with 21 catches in the 2 games last year, including his first CFL game last August. There's his 2nd grab, sidesteps a tackle, and away he goes. Beat Ethan Davis on the corner, and Walker has back-to-back first down catches.
Here's exactly what I'm talking about with the different defensive looks for the Montreal Alouettes. They're going to load the line of scrimmage and put up their 7 guys. That's one more than the Edmonton Eskimos can block. 2 off the edge makes it a total of 9. Now, if Darrell Walker can make his one-man miss, he makes the big play. Exactly what happens.
22 for Walker, more yards in this first drive than all of last week in Ottawa for number 87. First down. Underneath, ball is caught by Walker again to the corner. Ball came out, and they're going to mark him. Well, are they going to mark him at the 1 or give the football to Montreal? Did the Alouettes touch it last? It is Montreal football at the 1. Well, they'll review all turnovers, but
The ruling on the field is a fumble by Edmonton, last touched by Montreal before going out of bounds. First down, Montreal.
and it is off Chip Cox, Alouette football. PSN is presented by The Brick, saving you more. Well, it was a promising drive, 8 plays, 81 yards, 4 minutes, 22 seconds with the football, but it ends with a Darrell Walker fumble on the Alouette 1-yard line.
It went off Chip Cox for the Montreal Alouettes, and that linebacking core get the ball in the 1.
On field for Kevin Glenn, but it beats the alternative, and they hand it off to Brandon Rutley for a gain of about 3.
Darrell Walker in the open field here is going to get hit by Ethan Davis. The ball comes out here. Now, if Chip Cox deliberately kicks that football, it's still Edmonton ball. But in the opinion of the officials, after they reviewed it, it looked like Chip Cox was trying to make contact with Walker. It hit his leg and went out. He didn't deliberately try to kick it. I think he got the call right.
There's Glenn looking for a first down, but unable to connect with Sammy Jaguar, so it's a 2 and out for the Alouettes, and they may have to consider the safety. As you watch that replay again of Walker, it looked like he was just trying to transfer the ball to hold it out over the cone and lost the handle.
And you're probably right. There's not a lot of wind here tonight at Commonwealth. Montreal may consider just trying to kick this out of here, but
See if they give the new punter the green light here. They're not going to do that. And Farah takes the scenic route to concede the 2. And the Eskimos get on the scoreboard first. Official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
despite 3 straight losses, Mike Riley still on a tremendous pace when you look at his passing numbers. Went 5 straight this season, over 300 yards. Last week you mentioned first time without a touchdown pass, and first time this year under 300 yards passing.
Eskimos get the ball back on the line drive kickoff from Farah. On a hop to Penzaldo. Little stutter step and a good return up around the 45-yard line. So Riley back to work after a promising opening drive.
Took 8 sacks in the last couple of 3 games, but his pace remains remarkable. Mike Riley looking at over 6,500 yards. Now, I know it's early in the first third to start looking at the pace of a player, but when you're flirting with 6,000 yards, it shows you a few things. One is how good Mike Riley in this offense is. The other is that some of these rule changes are opening up the game again.
By the way, the Eskimo single season record held by Ricky Ray, 2008, 5,663. And the ground game goes to work with John White straight ahead and close to 10. And that'll take a little heat off of rush too, won't it?
Yeah, it certainly will. And it also shows again, Justin Sorensen back in at center. He's going to get out on Bear Woods. That opens up a nice lane for John White. It's not just Sorensen back in the lineup and a backup lineman out. It's actually Sorensen back to his spot, Simeon Rotier back to guard. That's his spot. So 2 changes with 1 injury, and they're now back to normal the way they started the season. Big blocking up front on that run.
Javon Johnson, the graybeard in that Alouette secondary, shaken up in his 149th game. So he'll have to come out. It's second and inches and maybe a free play for the Eskimos to try and exploit whatever change they're going to make here.
I was going to say, I mean, and that's the veteran. Marc-Olivier Brouillette is the safety, and he's got 7 years. But Javon Johnson, when you're talking about the DBs, halfbacks, and corners, he's a 10-year vet. He's got to go up for 3. Now you've got Ethan Davis, rookie out of Troy State. You go over to the other side, playing for Billy Parker, as you mentioned, out of the lineup is Greg Henderson out of Colorado. And then Jonathan Mincy at corner, number 29, out of Auburn. Rookies, 3 of them across the board. And guess what your assignment is tonight, gentlemen? Darrell Walker and Darius Bowman.
So it looks like Ramon Taylor has to come into the game, a rookie out of Michigan. So that back end gets even younger, which is interesting because the front 7 is veteran laden.
Well, the pass rush trumps the secondary, but rookies across the board, it's tough.
So again, second and a chain link or 2, but problem with the snap. Riley does fall across midfield, maintaining possession and getting the first down.
Yeah, didn't get that snap from Sorensen cleanly, or possibly moved too quickly, pulled his hands out of there too fast, but you see it bouncing around. Now Riley finally recovers it.
So close to fumbles on consecutive series for the Eskimos, but they have the football and a first down right at midfield. Riley to Darius Bowman. And quickly there, Ethan Davis to close that down.
Almost 2 straight fumbles, Chris, as you mentioned, and that has been a huge stat this year. Always is, but this year even more so. No team has won with more turnovers this year. You want to win that battle anytime, but
Bowman's first catch, net 7, 2nd and 3, and they'll try to get it on the ground, and John White should have it. White with only 1 game of over 50 yards in rushing this year. That was a 96-yard effort against Saskatchewan. Looking for a little bit more out of the run.
Oh, absolutely, and Edmonton not afraid to go right after the strength of this Montreal defense, which is their front 7.
Thought it was enough, but it's 3rd, and again they've got to get across that line, and they do with authority as Mike Riley sneaks behind Sorensen, and big Matt O'Donnell as Javon Johnson takes the walk to the Alouette dressing room. So an opportunity to exploit the youth in that Alouette secondary for Jason Moss and his veteran quarterback. Eskimos have had the football for almost the entire first quarter. Riley changes it up. And looks over the middle for Bowman, and a flag flies. Greg Henderson was on the scene, but will be called for pass interference.
Well, you gotta believe that Jim Popp and Noel Thorpe, boy, they have confidence in these young athletes in the secondary to do what they just did on that last play.
Montreal number 35. Point of foul, automatic, first down.
So you put in 4 rookies across the board, 1, 2, 3, 4, and what do? Then take the safety out of the middle and put them in straight man-to-man. That's having confidence in young athletes against Darrell Walker and Bowman draws the penalty.
Well, first down at the Alouette 28. Counter to White, breaks the tackle, break free! And John White runs it down to about the 11, and he's feeling it early. 18-yard run for White. That's his longest of the season.
Matt O'Donnell pulling from the right guard spot all the way around and picking up Napton on the edge. to keep that crease alive for John White.
So the second trip to the red zone for the Eskimos. Riley looking for Bowman in the back corner, incomplete. Henderson in that battle again with the dangerous Darius Bowman.
Greg Henderson at Colorado had the record for defensive plays. Noel Thorpe has obviously confidence in these young DBs. Mincy and Davis have played all season, so they've got a little experience, at least the 6 games they've played. Greg Henderson is new territory.
2nd and 10. From the pocket, Bowman crosser, and he's tripped up around the 2. Touchdown saving tackle by Ramon Taylor. And now Jason Moss has a decision.
Drop back into his zone, and Bowman finds a second window. Good open field tackle, or they're playing the Edmonton fight song.
3rd and goal, Jordan Lynch in the sneak to the goal line, and excuse me, it is Mike Riley, but is it a touchdown? There is Bowman signals, and it is.
Mike Riley got real low here, so much so that the pile had fallen completely on him, both offensive and defensive linemen. He's juggled the snap again and had to pull it forward to cross that plane. By the time they cleared the pile, they found Riley at the bottom of it with the ball across the white stripe.
Well, that's twice in short yardage. It's a little bit of an adventure. It is the first touchdown run of the year for the Eskimo quarterback. Sean White, the former Alouette, misses the extra point. Second miss for White on converts this year.
Happy birthday, Shay. Mom, Dad, Bo, Beck, I love you guys. Thanks for watching.
So a birthday present caps a 10-play, 65-yard touchdown drive for the home team by the Alouettes in the first quarter this year.
I was going to say good balance too, Chris. They got the running game going with John White, a couple big runs in that, and then that with Bowman down to the 1-yard line, 10 plays, 65 yards. The time of possession right now in this first quarter, Edmonton over 10 minutes. The Montreal Alouettes, not a minute yet, 59 seconds. Got to keep your offense on the field and keep that guy on the bench if they want a chance.
So far off. Either way, if you're not there, if you want to be there outside. The only thing is it's not max pro.
We're talking about the Alouette DBs playing off. Maybe some room for them to work on the next drive, but here's Stefan Logan. The Alouettes get a good field position on the veteran Logan's return up close to the 40-yard line. Been an interesting week for Jim Pop and the Alouettes. We'll have more on that from Sarah Orleski when we return to the Brick Field in Edmonton. Here's Sarah.
Well, Chris, a firestorm certainly has been brewing around the Alouettes over these last 24 hours after reports in Montreal media that centered around Jim Pop and comments that he made Sunday during a team meeting that some players took very personally and took offense to. Now, I spoke to veteran defensive back Billy Parker today, who confirmed to me that he approached Pop there in the room in front of all players to get clarification on Pop's comments. And he said he did it in a non-confrontational manner. Pop explained it was not his intent to offend by his comments, something that Parker tells me he believes. He said no one else spoke up during that time, although the opportunity was there for players. And although it is clear that some players are still upset by the comments, I spoke to some today that said they were surprised that it was even made its way into the media, believing that it had been dealt with internally on Sunday.
So a focus now on the performance on the field that might give you the indication of whether or not the team is coming apart a little at the seams.
Yeah, and the sources that I talked to, like Sarah, Jim Pop's message was very simple. After a lopsided loss to the BC Lions, he wanted to make sure that they understood that it's a privilege to play the game, so you better be ready every week.
Pass incomplete, intended for Duron Carter after the Rutley run of 13 yards. It'll be 2nd and 10.
He basically emphasized the fact that you got to come every day ready to prepare yourself, to get ready to compete at the highest level. It's a privilege to play. He did bring up a couple, in the way that he did it, crossed the line in the opinion of some of the players. They took offense. Billy Parker tried to fix that, as Sarah mentioned. Let anyone vent if they wanted to, and from the players I talked to, they said it's behind them.
Setting up a screen for Lewis, but pass incomplete, and they'll have to punt away. But the message was that jobs are at stake.
Without question. And if you don't, even if you're a veteran or a high-paid veteran, if you're not preparing like you should be, they'll bring in somebody else, and you may be in the unemployment line.
So Anthony Farah gets set to punt for the first time. Was at both Penn State, where he was an all-Big Ten punter, and then transferred to Texas, an All-American, beaten out by Richie Leone last year in BC, kicking it to Doe, and Denzel Doe's looked a little more dangerous tonight. 46-yard punt for Farah. And the Eskimos get one more possession here in this opening quarter.
Well, let's see what Darius Bowman was saying to Mike Riley. We may see it in this drive if they got something going on the sideline. And there's Bowman's pace, which put him over 2,000 yards. His projection in the 2016 season. Some pretty big numbers. And Darrell Walker, his teammate, also projected over 2,000. The only guys that have done it.
You gotta watch that tackle.
Bowman 43 yards away from entering the Eskimos' top 10 in receiving. A little swing pass to John White. And White with a jump cut across the 45. So John White being used here a lot after averaging just 12 touches in the last 3 games.
Well, John White in this running game been neglected a little bit in the offense over this 3-game losing streak. That's a little swing pass, extended running play, and White attacking again the heart of the defense. It's not the young DBs that are the problem right now for Montreal.
19, and they'll pitch to White on the ground, trying to get the edge, and runs out close to midfield at the Alouette bench. He averaged 17 touches a game in the first 3, 12 touches on average in the last 3 games. But John White already with 41 rushing yards in this first quarter, plus that 19-yard catch. So 2nd and 5. Riley with time. Flag goes down. Bowman a catch, which would be a first down, but see if this is coming back. Tony Washington arguing his case.
Illegal block, hands to the face. Edmonton number 58. 10-yard penalty. Will repeat 2nd down.
But to no avail.
That time of possession difference for Edmonton already taking its toll. Look at defensive lineman Vaughn Martin right here as he can't even get in his stance in time. Gets it, well, oh, now I got to go, and he just kind of gets up the field 3 or 4 steps. Easy block for the O-line. He's gone right to the bench. Time of possession is huge. Over 12 minutes so far for Edmonton.
2nd and 15. Riley steps up. Now throws. Looks for Bowman. Got him. What a connection. Chip Cox thought he had a line on the football, but Riley throws a rope to number 4.
Well blocked up front. Napton in the stunt in the middle. Gets caught in the wash. Mike Riley bounces that pocket. Good concentration at the other end by Darius Bowman, a 34-yarder.
Yeah, didn't have a big play last week on offense against Ottawa. There's one, a 34-yard connection. Off the edge comes Venable. The pass through the hands of first Getzlaf, and then looked like Ramon Taylor caught by surprise.
Yeah. This is the quick release that I'm talking about. When you don't have enough to block, you've got to get the ball out quickly. Mike Riley threw this one so quickly and so hard to Getzlaf, he barely protected himself on that throw.
So 2nd and 10 on what should be the final play of this first quarter. Little slant pattern, and Darrell Walker has another catch. And another Eskimo first down. 11 for Walker, his 4th catch of the quarter. And we're done. The opening quarter here at Commonwealth, and the Eskimos had the ball for almost the entire first quarter of play. Fumble by Walker was costly. Riley a touchdown. 8-0 Eskimos. But they had trouble getting off the field in that first quarter.
Yeah, sense of urgency for the Edmonton Eskimos on this 3-game losing streak, and you can see the time of possession, the big difference there. You saw that shot of Vaughn Martin and how tired he was on the defensive line. It also puts more pressure, Chris, on the offense for the Montreal Alouettes, because they've got to go out there and stay on the field, and they've got to force it to do so.
Just 2 possessions for the Alouettes. The first one starts on their 1-yard line, and just 1 first down for Kevin Glenn and the offense, who have been spectators for most of the football game.
Now for Mike Riley, he's seeing a lot of blitz packages up front and throwing those slant routes to Darrell Walker and Bowman. That'll pull the young DBs closer to them, and it won't be long before they try and double move them.
So we start the second. First down Eskimos at the Alouette 23. And they'll swing it out to Watson. And the Concordia product is out close to another Edmonton first down.
Nice little bubble screen to Corey Watson, who in matchups like this, because he speaks pretty good French, is a go-to guy for our partners at RDS for pregame interviews. Saw him and talked to him yesterday. Wants to break out and have another 100-yard game. Had one earlier in the year.
Yeah, that against Saskatchewan. John White the feint. Riley the roll. Bowman the catch. Should a flag comes down in the end zone with Bowman dropped at the 5.
And Ethan Davis was on coverage on Darrell Walker. The flag was thrown right around his feet. Not sure if it was on Walker or Davis.
But it is against Montreal.
Now Davis is...
Illegal contact. Montreal number 16. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Yep.
So it is Ethan Davis on the corner. First and goal at the 6, and Calvin McCarty will check in. Corey Watson to the sidelines. So McCarty to line up as a tight end. Bowman in motion. Hand off White, nothing doing.
Nice play.
Stacked up and dropped for a loss. Bear Woods on the scene along with Winston Venable.
Yeah, that's more like we've seen of the Montreal defense. Venable flowing to the football quickly. And Kyrie Bear was involved in this as well. There's Bear Woods right there. Take a look and take your pick, because they're filling their gaps and catching John White before he can get any momentum going north-south.
So a loss of 1, second and goal. Riley rolling. Riley sizing it up. Anybody open? Yes! Touchdown! Darius Bowman.
How about that? Mike Riley with his receiver. That was sweet, buddy. That was sweet because it was great work by Darius Bowman to work himself open. He's not open initially on this play fake. Riley gets outside. He's got lots of time. Bowman's covered up on the outside here and then shakes his coverage to just give Riley a target right at the corner by the cone.
5th touchdown catch of the year for Bowman. And now with 51 catches already on the season. And we've got a challenge flag coming out from Jim Pop.
Well, Bowman was right in the corner at the cone, but touchdowns are reviewed anyway. Scoring plays. I didn't see a push-off live. Jonathan Mincy was the corner in coverage.
Montreal is challenging that there was offensive pass interference on the play. We'll review the play.
Well, did Darius Bowman give Mincy a little push to open up at the end of that? Okay, so there's Bowman where he starts, comes out. Now he's picked up by the corner, Jonathan Mincy outside. Now when he goes up the field and then comes back, puts the brakes on. No shot. No shot, that's a wasted challenge.
The only issue might have been whether he stepped out and came back in the field of play, but that wasn't the challenge anyway.
Well, we can go back and, I mean, you could even go and look at that. I don't think he did.
No, I don't think
he
so
was
either.
close. And maybe Jim Pop was hoping that would be discovered if he challenged the offensive pass interference. But I don't think there was anywhere close to offensive pass interference there. By the way, challenges, the number of challenges for CFL coaches has not changed, the overall number, but how many challenges have been thrown have gone up 100% this year. And let's take another look just to see if Darius Bowman stepped out on his own and then came back into the field of play. He's very close in that corner.
Their best look, and from that angle, it appears he tightrope well enough to stay in play.
And clearly in bounds when he caught the ball.
Watching those replays and watching Cox and Woods, and neither attack the quarterback. Does that surprise you?
Set up the break there!
You get caught when the quarterback is that wide open. You get caught in between. If you go after the quarterback, your man behind
After
you
review,
is open.
we have blocking downfield, Edmonton number 25 prior to the pass. Be a 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So they did find something. And the touchdown comes off the board, and Jim Pop has a successful challenge.
Well, and it was a challenge that, you know, again, he goes back to, he must have known that the offensive pass interference was not going to be called, because clearly there was no offensive pass interference, but hoping that something would be discovered.
So called against Mike Miller. Who would have been in on that double tight end scenario. Get back to that, have another look, but it's 2nd and goal from 10 yards further back, and that pass caught by Getzlaff. There is a flag down as Getzlaff took a couple of tries to secure that football.
Well, this one took the touchdown off the board. Right here is Miller on that one knee. He gets up, dives to cut block.
Illegal contact, Montreal. Holding, Edmonton. Those penalties offset. We'll replay the down. 2nd down.
So those penalties cancel each other out. It'll be a redo at the 17, and second and goal once again. Alouettes defense looking for a stop. Ball in the end zone, incomplete. Nobody in the area. And the field goal team will have to come on.
Leads all active players by a long shot in sacks. Bowman coming off that edge, providing the pressure and going after Mike Riley. Forced him to throw when he didn't want to, and Darrell Walker zigged when he should have zagged.
So a potential turning point in the game. Touchdown off the board, and now Sean White looks for 3. After the convert miss, he connects from 25 out 3 minutes into the second quarter. As the Eskimos offense settles for a field goal and has an 11-point lead. But a stop for the Owls defense led by the veteran, John Bowman. Milt talks about using the hot route.
Yeah, that's exactly what Mike Riley is doing right now with that blitz package that Noel Thorpe is throwing at him. He's going to those hot routes from Darrell Walker. Darius Bowman getting the ball out of his hands quickly. Getzlaff involved too. Boy, great pro. John Bowman will be out fighting every time. He rushed that throw.
There's Logan. Always dangerous, isn't he? Pushed out of bounds by Donnie Baggs. Now the Alouette offense will head onto the field and try and stay onto the field for a little bit of an extended period of time. Kevin Glenn 0 for 3, looking for his first connection past the 3-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, Chris, over the last 3 games, Daron Walker's had 3, 4, 5 catches by now and be on his way to 100 yards.
Had the ball for only 24 minutes, 37 seconds in their last game. Gonna stretch it out, looking for E.J. Cunningham, and he brings it down over Solomon Means.
B.J. Cunningham in his second year with the Alouettes, and the Michigan State product, nothing fancy about it. All he did was take off and go with a little bit of a running start, and he put Solomon Means in that trail position and in the review mirror, and the objects don't appear closer than they actually are.
Big play, 43 yards,
Well,
and
they
now
needed
Rutley up the middle. Short yardage, G.C. Sherritt there.
2012 Miami Dolphin draft pick, B.J. Cunningham.
Touchdowns in the last 2 games. And a guy that the Alouettes feel is in the Jamel Richardson, S.J. Green mold.
Well, he left Michigan, their all-time leader in yards and receptions. So yeah, he's capable. Played in the big games.
2nd and 7. Short drop over the middle. And Nick Lewis. What a catch. You don't see the big man stretch out that often, but that's highlight reel material.
Oh yeah, this is a great catch by...
Illegal block, hands to the face. Montreal number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
It's a shame for the veteran Lewis. But Philip Blake, the left guard, with an illegal block penalty that will negate it.
Yeah, you know, we've seen a lot of these, Chris, this year. These hands to the face penalties on offensive linemen, and really, Chris Schultz will tell you it's just a technique issue. And to be quite honest, it's just getting lazy, letting the hands get up there and get lazy. Takes a big play by Nick Lewis off the board.
So 2nd and 17, 3-man rush to the wide side, and short hops it to Lewis, who was open but not likely to get first down yardage out of that.
Well, 8th all-time CFL receiving list, and the roommate of Kevin Glenn's on the road. And roommates before, so I'm sure that they'll have a discussion. Glenn will say, hey, too bad about that one taken off the board, but that, you know, the veteran Nick Lewis is saying to Glenn, hey, no one hoppers.
So the first attempt for Anthony Farah. Boris Beatty was 2 for his last 7. That's why Farah's here. And he puts the first one through. 43-yarder gets the Alouettes on the board. John White's been dangerous so far tonight on the ground and catching the football out of the backfield. Eskimos offense back to work when we come back. So after the Farah field goal, Eskimos will take charge at their 35. Fourth possession, they've had 9, 10, and 12 play drives so far. And there is Darrell Walker. This time he can't get loose against Ramon Taylor.
Yeah, I've noticed, Chris, that Noel Thorpe defensively has gone to a 30 front now. 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers, bringing Kyrisse Bear on the field. So it's Kyrisse Bear, Chip Cox, Winston Venable, and Bear Woods out there now. No Von Martin.
Second down and over the middle of the fingertips of Darrell Mitchell, incomplete. The coverage provided by Ethan Davis, and the first 2 and out of the night.
You know, it may seem like a small thing because it's still just the front 7. It's just a different type of formation in the front 7, but it gives you a different type of blocking schemes and a different look.
Mike Riley wanted Jason Moss to challenge something. Let's have a look.
Edmonton is challenging that there was roughing the passer on the play. We'll review the play.
4 times last week, Mike Riley, or the Ottawa Red Blacks were called for
hits
roughing
on
the passer.
Yeah. See, I believe it was Kyrisse Bear here coming late on the blitz. Ball dumped out. Left hand hit the face mask and helmet of Riley. He's been hit much, much harder over the last 3 weeks than that one, but you can't hit the head of the quarterback in any way, shape, or form.
A few stitches on the forehead after last week's capital punishment.
You're right. There's a couple supplementary discipline handed out to a couple of players with hits on Mike Riley from the Ottawa game.
More egregious than the one under review right now. That one split the forehead open.
Leaking a little bit. But not a problem for that guy. And
well, I'll ask your take on this. Clearly there is some contact. Fans think, yeah, we're overdoing the protection of the quarterbacks. Do you agree?
Yes. Honestly, common sense, it probably won't be, because the precedent has been set that if there's any hit, touch, elbow, hand to the face or head of the quarterback, it will be called. So I expect this to be a late hit on or unnecessary roughness on the quarterback, to be quite honest. But if common sense prevailed, and I think it should, that is not a hit worthy of a call or an overturned play here.
After review, we have roughing the passer, Montreal number 37. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That is the standard, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Trying to establish.
Yeah, it's the standard, and it's the way they've been calling it, so all the players know. Kyrisse Bear, and it was 34, not 37, but Kyrisse Bear understands, and that's why he's not putting up much of an argument, that you can't be reckless with it when it comes to below the knees or above the shoulders on the QB, and no argument from him. He goes, okay, but common sense says that's not a late hit on the quarterback in football. It's just the way it's been called all year, so they're trying to be consistent.
And calling it that way because of the rash of quarterback injuries.
Absolutely.
Last year. Had a few this year on the lower hits. John White straight ahead as the offense stays out and avoids the first 2 and out of the evening for Edmonton. Mentioned the CFL discipline today, and there were 3 different fines related to penalties involving Mike Riley, 2 by the Red Blacks, and they went back the week before and decided Ian Wild merited a fine for a hit on Mike Riley as well. So he's been in the target zone, and John White was able to avoid big contact, but still dropped short of the first down at the Montreal 50.
Yeah, it put John White, that throw put him in a little bit of a bind. He had to make a real tough catch, go up and bring it down, and then when he did, he just didn't have a chance to regroup to make a man miss in the open field. A bit high, kind of juggled it, and then by the time he gets control, tackled there by Ethan Davis.
So Grant Shaw playing in his 100th Canadian Football League game. Hunt looking for the corner. And this one's going to go out of bounds and see if he did hit inside the 20. Going to mark him beyond the 15, and it is going to be just inside the 20. So no penalty on the play. That's where Kevin Glenn and Ron Carter get set to go back to work. 8-point deficit for the visiting Alouettes here in the Commonwealth. Reaction to the spot of the football just inside the 20 that avoided an Edmonton penalty. You're kidding me.
Yeah, the you've got to be kidding me look from the Montreal head coach. Been an interesting few days for Jim Pop.
And off Rutley. Dragged down by Dion Lacey when it looked like he might have a little room outside a 4-yard pickup.
Well, you start to get the sense if Kevin Glenn can put a drive together here that they sort of weathered a storm, because that time of possession advantage by Edmonton in the first quarter really didn't produce the points they should have. But Jim Pop is they're hanging around here.
We played over 20 minutes and Kevin Glenn has 1 completion. Make it 1 completion and a drop. One that Ron Carter should have had and would have kept the offense on the field.
Yep, should have had it. No excuse for that. It had run a nice route. Was open on this in route. Press coverage from Pat Watkins. Going to be an interesting matchup. And he gets on that slant and in across the middle. Had some leverage, but dropped the ball.
Farrah's punt drives Doe back to the 30, but cancel Doe. And looks like the returner that hasn't been able to make much happen this year for Edmonton, gaining a little confidence after that 56-yard punt. Well, a 3-game losing streak for the Eskimos coming into the game. We talked to the leader and quarterback about the mood of the green and gold.
Mood's positive. Guys are obviously disappointed and upset that we haven't come away with victories. But I think they understand what we're trying to build towards. They understand that given some of the changes that we had, it was going to take some time for this team to mesh and get back to the level that we're used to playing at. But nobody's content with using that as an excuse.
Got that Band-Aid.
Procedure. Edmonton number 58. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Tony Washington flag.
See right underneath the helmet, you get the Band-Aid over that scar on his forehead. He had one across the nose. That's why Mike Riley is voted by his peers for 3 straight years as the toughest guy in the Canadian Football League.
Roughed up 4 times. There were a couple of sacks in that game and an endless series of hits, it seemed, in the game against Ottawa. Swung out to Watson. Notice the Concordia alumni have a group here at Commonwealth tonight, so they'll be cheering on number 18.
So he got his line back, and then he got an outnumbered blitz. And remember, in this first quarter, remember Winston Venable? Yeah, whack. That one doesn't last all game. That one lasts all week.
Second and 7. Riley, like his arm was hit as he tried to drop it off to John White. Incomplete pass. And Gabriel Napton and the Alouettes get the Eskimo offense off the field.
Napton, 27-year-old out of Wyoming, and he is on a torrid pace of his own. 2 years in the league, 20 sacks already totaled up. You put him as the bookend on the opposite side of John Bowman, who draws double teams, and watch out. That defense starting to settle in now.
Yeah, leads the league in war paint. 5 minutes left. First half. Logan fields this. Flag comes down as he steps out beyond the 25. And it looks like no yards will be the call against Edmonton. And this will enhance the field position for the Alouettes, who haven't enjoyed much in the first half.
No yards. Edmonton number 35. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's Donnie Baggs, and they'll march it up. Saw Nick Lewis come onto the field as he continues to climb the ladder into the pantheon of great Canadian Football League receivers.
915 catches. Had that beauty taken off the board a few moments ago. 40 coming into this game.
I don't know about you, but I thought that might have been a top 10 Lewis catch. And Rutley tripped up as he tried to reverse field and dropped for a loss.
29 times in his career, Nick Lewis has been over 100 yards receiving. You know, and I think he can get there. I think he could get there this year. The way the rules have changed, giving receivers a little bit more room and making it a little tougher for defensive backs to be physical, although you don't really want to be physical on a slot back that weighs 240. You might get steamrolled in that case.
Number 6 in catches, number 8 in yards, and there he is with a first down grab in front of Dion Lacey.
Number 8, Nick Lewis.
Second down conversion catch for Nick Lewis, his 13th of the year.
Kevin Glenn's family calls Nick Lewis Uncle Nick. They're very good friends. Glenn's wife Asha and son Caleb, 7 years old. In fact, Kevin Glenn's daughter Dylan, who's 4, called from the bench one time to say, throw it to Uncle Nick.
Third first down of the game, and now Coleman under pressure. Got away, drops it off, but away goes Scheer. And the Speedster down inside the Edmonton 45-yard line. And suddenly the Alouettes have something going.
Well, I'm not sure how Kevin Glenn got out of this. It looked like Odell Willis had a pretty good rush lane here. Now, Nick Lewis trying to protect his quarterback and give him some help. Just gave him a subtle push past his roommate.
Just got a piece, and the 34-year-old bails out his roomie, and the Alouettes in business. Now it's back into the hands of Scheer. Crashing down to the 35-yard line, close to 8 more. We hit the 3-minute warning. Eskimos have had an edge in play, an 8-point lead, but the Alouettes are threatening.
It could be by a whole lot more. We'll talk about that. Also, the CFL with another huge fine to the Saskatchewan Roughriders for roster violations. That in the GMC Precision Playbook as well at the half. Let's go back to Chris and Glenn.
I just got a feeling Saturday at Mosaic between Calgary and Saskatchewan's going to be interesting.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Second and 2, and a handoff to Rutley, who plows ahead and should give The Alouettes a fresh set of downs.
And watching where Deron Carter breaks the huddle and the go-to receiver, the 3 straight games over 100-yard receiver for Kevin Glenn, does not have a catch yet tonight. Patrick Watkins been playing against him a little bit, but on that last short yardage play, he went to the field and Watkins stayed down on the short side. It's exactly what's happening here.
On fire the last 3 weeks, 21 catches, 454 yards and a pair of touchdowns. And they go to B.J. Cunningham, and he brings it down. 354 yards, excuse me. Cunningham has his second catch.
Well, Cunningham, of course, replacing S.J. Green, who I saw on Twitter earlier this morning and retweeted it because it's great news. Had successful surgery on the ACL, and that's great to hear. We wish speedy recovery for S.J. Green, one of the great players and great people in the league.
Absolutely. The 2nd and 4. And Glenn pumps, now delivers, and incomplete, intended for Lewis. Nearly intercepted as that ball bounced around, and Glenn needs some help up.
Offside, Montreal number 4. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Corbin Lux was offside. It is declined, and the field goal unit will come on.
Yeah, field goal has to come out there because Kevin Glenn wanted Rutley out of the backfield here, but watch Patrick Watkins, who we just talked about. He's going to look like he's covering Carter, and then the last second shoots up. Kevin Glenn tries to throw that one. Watkins takes it to the house.
Barrow made from 43. And now from 33 yards out. Just tucks it in. 2 for 2 and a 5-point Edmonton lead. Well, a charismatic attorney and a powerhouse who don't play by the rules. The scandalous new series, Notorious. Thursdays this fall on CTV. He's been quiet so far tonight.
And
but
to say
somehow the Alouettes have stayed in it.
To say Deron Carter is quiet in any way is not something that we've done much this year.
Under 2 left, first half. Riley throwing, Bowman with another catch. Brought down around the 40 by Jonathan Mincy. 5-yard pickup.
Those big plays have eluded Edmonton in the last 3 games through this losing streak. They had 10 offensive big plays total. 9 of them in the first 3 games of the season.
2nd and 5, Riley the slant, and catch made by Walker in front of Ethan Davis. And Walker has 6 catches.
And Davis covered that pretty good too. I mean, it's about as good as you can get in that press coverage. And Davis not afraid to go up and challenge Darrell Walker. Love to see it from young players like that. Beat out Mitchell White and Dominic Ellis to win that corner spot. 24-year-old played that one tight.
Don't want to see this. John Bowman down and getting attention. See if he can get some weight on that. It's like right leg.
Yeah, he's going to get cut block off the edge here. Anthony Batiste just tries to cut block him and go for that outside knee.
Slowly to the sidelines, but it's like he is able to get some weight on the leg. Alouettes will move to a 3-man front.
Got Darrell Walker in a 1-on-1 on the short side of the field here.
Oh, yeah. There he is, stepping out midfield. You put 4 receivers to the wide side of the field like Mike Riley does there, you can see what the defense is going to do and how they react. If they bring all the DBs and leave Davis by himself, that creates the one-on-one matchup, and Riley just waits till he makes that first cut and puts the ball right on him. 87, 7 catches for 77 yards. And underneath, gets left to catch and got up to try and get the first down. Venable there, and he'll be close.
Penalty flag in the backfield for Edmonton.
Holding, Edmonton number 60, 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's Justin Sorensen. That offensive line called 7 times last week against Ottawa. Believe that's the 3rd call against the Edmonton front tonight, who practiced once this week, Suits, and we're told in practice with a CFL official there were no penalties. Jason Moss trying to cut those down. They are the 3rd highest penalized team in the league. So 2nd and 13. Riley under pressure. Dumps it off to White, not going anywhere. Well contained by Kyra Saber. Michael Klassen on the scene. And they'll have to punt it away with a minute to go. There's an Alberta boy who was pumped up to get back into his home province.
Yeah, he was the guy that Justin Sorensen was trying to block.
So shot a punt, and Logan looking to give Kevin Glenn field position and a chance to get final minute points here in this first half. Logan from the 19. 49-yard punt, but Logan with a little crease and out of an arm tackle to get an 18-yard return with just under a half minute to go. So Kevin Glenn can dial up
maybe squeeze 3-4 plays out, actually, or try a deep shot. Ron Carter's due. Again, the last 3 games, over 100 yards for Carter. 354 to be exact. That's 118 on average. 5 plays over 30. They get one here, they're in field goal range.
Tied for first in the league with 7 on the season. They'll pitch to Shiger.
Get out.
Can't get out of bounds. 7-yard gain.
The Alouettes got to be happy with the way they're going in at halftime here, because it could have been a lot worse. I know the panel is going to talk about that at the break.
Need about 15 to get into fair range, you would think. Underneath again, and Rudley will get out with 8 seconds to go. So time to get one more play in and get Farah onto the field.
Take a shot. If you're going to do it, you go to the short side of the field if you can, and that quick out to, looks like Deron Carter is on that side of the huddle. Anyway, Anthony Calvillo, he's done it many, many times as a player. Can he call the play here and get it executed to Carter?
Not much of a breeze right now. There it is. Got a catch, gets out of bounds, and there is time to bring Farah out for a 3rd field goal attempt in this first half.
Oh, and Patrick Watkins just backed right out of there. Didn't want to get beat deep down the field on a double move. I mean, he gives Carter this out and is not even in your picture. But Watkins thinking, hey, I'm going to stay back in my deep 3rd, not give up a touchdown here, and if they kick a field goal, that's one thing.
Oh, here's a test for the newcomer. Now the Eskimos call timeout.
Edmonton.
I don't know if the Eskimos have too many men on the field. Looks like they do.
Oh, yeah. That long run to the sideline for Solomon Means.
So they avoid the too many men penalty that would have got Farah 10 yards closer. Trouble getting it down, and the timing was off. It's lined wide, and Hensel going to try and go for a run. And he gets outside. Flag comes down. And Doe is dragged down just beyond the 40-yard line. Tackle made by the kicker, Farah.
That's why Jason Moss called the timeout. Just burned his time out there to make sure it was a long kick. That's not a guarantee.
Looked like they had a little
Montreal,
trouble getting
47.
it down. So a 5-point lead.
Illegal block, Edmonton, decline. Half is over.
Take one more look at the first miss for Farah. Vernon Adams, the holder.
There they are, right after our kick to win at the half.
And he did get it down well. 11-6 at the half.
Right now it's time for Edmonton kick to win at the half.
It is Thursday Night Football.
Absolutely dominating the first half, but you only take a 5-point lead into the half. How would you describe those opening 2 quarters?
We have to limit our mistakes. We had a lot of mistakes that we need to keep off the board. So as soon as we limit those mistakes, we'll have better position of scoring more points. So as long as we limit them penalties and limit them mistakes, we'll be fine.
For yourself, 7 catches, 77 yards. What is the key to having success against that Alouettes defense?
Playing fast, and catching everything. No drops. When we drop the ball, it slows the offense down. So we need to cut the drops out and limit the penalties, and then we'll be fine.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Big first half, Darrell Walker, where the Eskimos are lacking, is on the scoreboard, only 11 points, a 5-point lead with a second half kickoff at Commonwealth. Coming up here on Thursday Night Football.
Happy birthday, Shay. Mom, Dad, Bo Beck, I love you guys. Thanks for watching.
For the second half, but first to the sideline, Sarah Orleski with Winston Venable.
Winston, this is familiar territory for this group right now going into the second half. What was said at the break?
Not a whole lot. We just got to do
Said at the break.
not a whole lot. We just got to do our job, make tackles out there, and play our type of football.
What is going to be key, especially as you go late into this game in that fourth quarter?
Making tackles and doing our assignment.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Darrell Walker is a guy that they'll be focused on trying to contain. 7 catches, 77 yards in the first half. Looks like he's on his way to another double-digit catch night against the Alouettes.
Good bounce-back game from that Ottawa game last week where he had 3 for 26 and was targeted 9 times.
Did have a fumble in that first half that took potential points off the board. Edmonton with the football, and away goes Doe. And the Wisconsin product all the way up to the 48-yard line. He is definitely enjoying his best game of the season.
Yeah, I came into this game tonight with a 5.7-yard punt return average, a 21.9, slightly better on the kick return average because over 20, good for those kick return averages, but that's just great speed to the outside and then finding a little seam.
Average start for the Eskimos this season, the 34-yard line, because they haven't got great returns, but here they are starting at the 48. John White straight ahead. Mentioned Darrell Walker and how explosive he has been. 7 catches, 77 yards.
First game of his career last year was against the Montreal Alouettes. And in that one, he had 10 for 125. Played him again later in the season, had another 100-yard game, and is on his way to a third against these Alouettes. They're going to see 87 in their nightmares.
That CFL debut almost a year ago to the day. The ball came loose as Walker can't hang on. And
good close. Our sideline interview, Winston Venable. stepped up after saying we've got to go and hit and tackle and execute. Exactly
Short to
what
the
he
point, and just gets the job done.
And got it done on 2nd and medium.
So the punt team comes on after the second 2-and-out of the night for Edmonton. Shaw's kick, Logan on the run, has some room. This is a 36-yard punt, and Logan brings it out beyond the 40, so decent field position for Kevin Glenn, who is going to have to try and spring Duron Carter in this second half.
Yeah, one of the other 3 receivers we put on the marquee to start this, Duron Carter, had a very tough first half. Had just 1 catch, and it was late in that first half. And Edmonton doing a lot of different things with him, playing with the double. There's a little bit of a vice on the double team, and at times matching him up with Patrick Watkins.
Start on the ground, start with Rutley. Short gain to the 43. Duron Carter, you mentioned 3 consecutive 100-yard games. The last Alouette receiver with 4 straight 100-yard games, Jamel Richardson, 5 years ago.
I think the offensive coordinator was throwing to him.
Yeah. Second down, pressure on, and pass for Carter incomplete with Watkins in his hip pocket.
Well, they're not tracking Carter with Patrick Watkins. They're leaving Watkins on his familiar short side, but you see he's got nice inside leverage, so not enough of a move there from Duron Carter to force Patrick Watkins to jump an outside move.
So both teams start 2-and-out. Here in the second half. Short punt, and who's on it? Did that hit an Eskimo? And Nick Boulay got on the football. We're going to call no yards. The way some of the Eskimos reacted, that maybe it had touched a member of the green and gold. But it is Edmonton football when we come back. Football sponsored by the Brick Field here at Commonwealth Stadium. And great tradition in Edmonton was the Knothole gang, and so many young fans grew to watch the Edmonton Eskimos of the glory years, starting out in the Knothole corner. And there's a clubhouse for young fans here where they can take advantage of the full CFL experience. And we always like to see young fans in the park.
Oh, absolutely. Beautiful night here in Edmonton. Good crowd tonight. Diving into some nachos. What's your when you go to a sporting event? Are you a popcorn guy or are you a nacho guy? What do you?
I'd be a hot dog guy.
A hot dog? You're a hot dog
and
guy?
a beverage.
Well, yeah.
I don't think those are served in the Knothole corner, though.
Putting back a few beverages, I know that.
Have to stay hydrated in the summer.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos got that running game going pretty good in that first half. But as we mentioned in the second quarter, Montreal's defense started to settle in, and it's good to see John Bowman back on the field at defensive end.
Whoop. Offside going to be called. Some early movement from Alan Michael Cash, and were they drawn? Had the feeling in the first quarter.
Procedure, Edmonton number 18. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
That's called on Corey Watson. Had the feeling early that the Eskimos might run away with this game. The ball control over 12 minutes of time on possession in the first quarter. But touchdown that was called back seems to have stalled the attack.
That's that running game, 62 yards in the first half from John White.
So 2nd and 13. Riley runs away from trouble and knocked down Marc-Olivier Bouillet. A long throw for Bowman, hung up in the safety. In his 91st game, Brouillette breaks it up.
Nice inside stun here by Montreal. Picked up by the O-line initially. Kyrie Sebert there, and then coming around the corner is John Bowman. Now they get outside of that trouble, but the ball just a little bit late. By the time Mike Riley pulls the trigger, Marc-Olivier Brouillette comes down. Now no Javon Johnson back out of that. He was injured in the first. So there's your veteran in the Montreal secondary making a play.
Tough throw for Riley, and a dangerous one too. And it's now 2 and outs for Edmonton, 3 of their last 4 possessions. Logan from the 19, sidesteps, first man, and off he goes. The return man have had a good night. And Logan shortens the field for the Alouette offense. Duron Carter's been quiet so far tonight. More from Sarah Orleski on the explosive receiver when we come back. Time all CFL corner, Patrick Watkins with more on the matchup. Let's go back to the sidelines here, Sarah.
Well, Chris, it was inevitable that that was going to be a matchup we were watching. Duron Carter having eclipsed the 100-yard mark in each of his last 3 games. Not the case, certainly so far tonight. I asked Watkins about trying to contain Carter. He said, you just want to make sure he doesn't become a game breaker. He will get his touches. You want to make sure he doesn't go over the top, and you keep him underneath. And I told him that Carter said regarding the matchup, he's a lot faster than Watkins. And Watkins just laughed and said that Father Time is undefeated. You tell him back in the day, he said, he can look at my 40. I was pretty fast too.
But you become wiser as you get older. But he's right about that. Father Time is undefeated. Some hang into that fight a little bit longer than others.
Good cat and mouse game between him and Chris Williams last week. And now Carter. That's running the gauntlet, isn't it? There's a corner. 2nd and 7. Glenn with a pump and hangs on and takes off. First down. And Kevin Glenn with a slide down to the 40. And that's his longest run of the season. 16 yards and an Alouette first down.
Run lane opens up there, working off the side. This Marcus Howard at defensive end. He's working on Jacob Ruby. Inside move there, and that opens up contain, or loses contain, I should say, and Kevin Glenn takes it around that edge for first down.
Well, Montreal into Edmonton territory, 1st and 10 at the Eskimo 41. Glenn has time, looking downfield, great catch made by B.J. Cunningham.
Been the best Alouettes receiver tonight. B.J. Cunningham makes his best catch of the night, and Kevin Glenn is going to throw it around the defender that's in great position on Cunningham coming across the middle. Now Glenn wants to throw it. He's got an underneath man right here over the top, so he throws it to the spot and lets B.J. Cunningham run to the football just past his defender.
Said great catch, but that might be a better throw, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Threw him open.
Third catch, 74 yards for Cunningham. Glenn will step up again, and a feet first slide down around the 10-yard line. Close to 6 more.
Weathered the first half, the first quarter, and the Montreal Alouettes are on the doorstep to take the lead early or midway through this third anyway.
Didn't get as good a spot as I anticipated. And mark him at the start of the slide correctly, not at the end, and so it's going to be 2nd and 7. We're looking for the lead. Over the middle end. Low and outside, incomplete for Nick Lewis.
Real nice close. I believe it was Cord Parks, the halfback, working on Nick Lewis, who's trying to run that route where he basically blocks out his defender in Cord Parks and tries to put his body between the throwing Glenn and the defender behind him. But that ball low and away.
Farrell looks for his 3rd of the night. Out of the hole of Adams from 20 yards, and it's now a 2-point Edmonton lead. Midway through the third quarter, Eskimos 11, Alouettes 9. CFL Thursday, 11 o'clock Eastern.
I got to make it a track meet, baby. They got to catch me today.
You got to be kidding me.
This is how we play now. Thanks for watching.
Behind the scenes look at the action of the previous week. Eskimos to work, almost knocked out of the hands of Riley, and now he takes off. Bear Woods in pursuit, brought down, and the ball came loose, and the Alouettes, I think, are on it. Mike Riley takes some more punishment, and at the bottom of the pile, it looks like it's Aaron Laverius with the football.
I'll take a look and see if that ball came out before Mike Riley was down by contact. Big hit there from Greg Henderson. Kyrisse Bear got things started, or it might have been a deep ball throw to Darius Bowman, but let's take a look at the end and see if it's a fumble by Riley. Bear Woods in pursuit.
Knee down there, and looks like the Eskimos offense may come back on.
And I think that knee touched just before the ball came out.
Again, no need for a challenge. Any turnover is automatically reviewed, and Jason Moss already looking for the next play call.
Boy,
After review, the Edmonton quarterback was down at the 40-yard line with a first down.
Not down by contact. I want to show you Kyrisse Bear, who made the play, or else this is possibly a touchdown throw to a Darius Bowman. Bowman was on a layered deep post route, and Mike Riley wanted him down the middle. You see Bowman flash. Now right there, Kyrisse Bear made him reload. Now he couldn't get rid of it deep down the field. Now he's on the run, and then the mayhem ensued.
Well, it turns out to be a 5-yard pickup for Riley, who spent time during the review loosening up, throwing the
yards
football.
To gain is the 45, so it'll be 2nd down and 5.
Well, that was a deep shot, though. Both Darrell Walker and Bowman were on flat-out go routes deep down the field. Deep post by Bowman, and Riley couldn't get it out of there.
Had the one big play to Bowman in the first half of 34 yards. Here come the Owls. Riley gets it away, sidelines. It's caught by Bowman. A flag in the Alouette secondary. And Bowman with enough for the first down, pending the call.
See this call, and good news for Montreal fans is that Javon Johnson.
Illegal contact, Montreal number 16. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, there's the bad news for Montreal fans. Evan Davis gets called on the contact on Bowman, but the good news is their veteran halfback, Javon Johnson, was late coming out in the second half, but he is back in the lineup now.
Top defensive player in the Canadian Football League 5 years ago. Riley sets up, gonna take a shot. Incomplete, intended for Kuhorn. Another flag, this one in the Eskimo backfield. Greg Henderson in coverage.
The reaction of Mike Riley is this is in the backfield in the
Decline.
holding area.
Holding, Edmonton number 66. That penalty is declined, 2nd down.
So Matt O'Donnell, the holding call that time.
And Montreal's Vaughn Martin back in the game. There's Matt O'Donnell in 47. Pulls him inside. It's John Bowman that he ends up tackling.
So 2nd and 10. 5-man rush. Pass across the middle and caught by Walker. Got another Edmonton first down on his 8th catch of the night. And that should be enough to get him just short of 100.
He's gonna run this dig route. It takes a little bit of time. The stunt up front is picked up nicely. A delayed blitz from Montreal.
And now no huddle for Edmonton. And a short gain for John White to the 45.
They'd like to get into this tempo, have all season, did all training camp, did not huddle through camp.
Ball spotted at the 44. So it's 2nd and 7. Five receivers set. White releases. Riley throws, and Bowman's got it. Another first down.
All the young receivers, the kids in minor football watching this game tonight, take a look at how Darius Bowman is going to reach out for the football, go back to it, come back a step, reach out and catch it with his hands, not let it get to his shoulder pads or his body. Fundamentally sound, right in front of Chip Cox, who can't cover it much better.
Bowman 5 for 73, Riley over 200, and now back in Bowman's hands. And he broke the Javon Johnson tackle and tumbles down close to another Eskimo first down.
Broke the tackle because he, by motion, had leveraged Javon Johnson and got him in a real chase position. And we've got to assume at this point that Johnson's probably playing hurt.
Riley plunging on 2nd and less than a yard to give Edmonton a fresh set of downs.
Former outstanding defensive player and only defensive back on that list. Javon Johnson missed most of the first half, so he's likely playing through some pain right now.
Eskimos 1 for 3 in the red zone tonight. Hook into Coehorn is dropped.
Riley looking for number 85, Dave Coehorn. Pass incomplete. Will be 2nd and 10.
Brings up 2nd and 10.
Nice coverage by Jonathan Mincy. When he was at Auburn, he played that wide side corner and made a lot of plays out there and a lot of tackles. He's a physical corner, not a big guy, not a Patrick Watkins type, only 5'10", but had over 200 tackles from the wide side at Auburn. That's a lot of tackles out there.
2nd down, pressure on, and the pass is caught. Walker brings it down, and he's got another Edmonton first down. And he does go over 100 with that grab.
To the top of your screen here. Let's see. Oh, nice stem move inside. Look at that route runner. I mean, you've got a young corner and Ethan Davis getting all turned around. That was some sweet route running from number 87.
9th catch. So Walker with 30 catches in 3 games against the Alouettes in his career. White, fumble, ball loose, and the Alouettes are on it. Marc-Olivier Brouillette, and it is Montreal football for the 2nd time. The Eskimos fumble on the Montreal 1-yard line. Another costly turnover for Edmonton, knocking on the door, but not getting in. When Hull City goes up against Leicester City. Catch it 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific on TSN 5, presented by Guinness.
Well, the first fumble early on in this game down on the 1-yard line turned into 2 points after a stop by the Edmonton Eskimos defensively. Here's the fumble that just happened, and you'll see that John White loses contact, or loses the football before his knee makes contact with the turf. Ball's out there, knee is still not touched. Now, in the first drive of the game, the Edmonton Eskimos' Darrell Walker down on the 1-yard line, went to switch hands with it here and dive across and lost the handle. Knocked out of bounds by Chip Cox.
In the first quarter, it was a 10-play drive. Stopped on the 1. This was a 9-play drive. Stopped on the 1, and now they're going to go deep. Carter can't bring it in. There's the matchup. Carter against Watkins, and the vet prevails.
Sometimes you just have to be in position, don't necessarily have to be as fast as Deron Carter had mentioned, and Sarah reported that Carter may have a little bit more of those young legs, but That's nice coverage by Patrick Watkins, waiting until the ball arrives and reading the receiver's reaction when it does to make his move and disrupt the play. Veterans winning right now.
Second and 10. Glenn gonna take another shot, and this one is incomplete. Duron Carter again. This time it was Marcel Young who gets the job done defensively.
They played what's called a cut coverage. Now what that is a zone defense where Marcel Young is going to drop out of there. You don't see him right now. It's not Patrick Watkins' responsibility to take Duron Carter. He's playing the cut, the short zone. He'll trail underneath. He knows he's the target, but it's Marcel Young's responsibility, and he plays the ball nicely.
Farrap likely to give up the safety for the second time in the game. The Eskimos net 4 points out of a couple of costly fumbles on the Montreal goal line.
Yeah, 8 points difference. 2 fast breaks to Carter, and he saying it was him. It looked like the ball did get there, and that Patrick Watkins coverage.
Yeah, he kind of gave you the indication he thought he should have had. I'm guessing the first one more likely than the second. Darrell Walker over 100. These are the best 7-game starts to a season in history. We've updated Walker's numbers. And he's still playing tonight in Game 7.
I was going to say, I don't think he's done yet. I don't think he is done yet. It's been a matchup on the rookie from Troy State, Ethan Davis, who started every game at Troy State this last couple of years.
Hey, I was like, I told Joe, like, no more.
But the Alouettes hanging around here. Edmonton's going to get the football back on the kickoff here after the safety. This time it's Greg Morris up beyond the 40. Let's check back in with Sarah.
Well, Chris, as the Eskimos came off after that last fumble, the players say there's just no killer instinct. Right after that, Jason Moss walked down the bench from the offensive line to the receivers, yelling at them, "You get your heads up. Get your heads up."
Now, it's interesting. He's talked about execution all week and a couple of misfires. Penalties have started to occur with some regularity. And it all seemed to come unhinged a bit after the touchdown taken off the board on the challenge. They would have made it a 14-0 lead.
Well, and penalties were an issue last week against Ottawa. In fact, there were 27 total combined between the two teams. So that was the first thing that Jason Moss said to me yesterday when I talked to him, was that got to eliminate those. Those are hurting us. And I think what Sarah also mentioned there on the sideline was Moss telling the guys that body language means a lot. Don't give up. Don't drop your head because of a couple of fumbles on the one. They've got the lead in this game, and they are executing between the 10-yard lines.
Riley over the middle, and ball knocked away from Bowman. Incomplete. Greg Henderson. Well, these young guys are growing up in this game, aren't they?
Absolutely, hanging in there. I mean, you know, Darrell Walker and Bowman are going to make their plays. They're going to get their touches. But, you know, this is a one-possession ball game, and these young guys are holding their own. That was Greg Henderson out of Colorado playing for Billy Parker tonight. I haven't seen them, Chris, just back out of there and play scared almost against these guys. They are in position.
Third 2 and out of the second half. And on the run again, Logan does a good job of making sure that doesn't hit the turf and bounce on him. And
outstanding.
That's valuable yardage he saved and gained after the catch.
And that was on. He got on his horse. He was flying to get that ball, and that's a big play. It may be subtle, and it may be something that doesn't really show up that much in the stat sheet at the end of the night, but he doesn't catch that ball, and who knows where it rolls. It might go another 20, 25 yards into Alouette territory.
Instead, he gets 15 on the return. Montreal starts at the 45, down by 4, and the fly sweep to Jaguar. And Jaguar, good contact there, brought down on the play by Tyler Thornton.
Getting a chance to play in that secondary. Listen up to this one. You can focus on player safety, which all leagues are, and it can still be a physical game. That's a big hit.
2nd and 4. Glenn had a double clutch, but gets it away, and Laux has the grab. And a Montreal first down.
Kevin Glenn had to throw that one low and inside, or there was a chance it could get picked. And this is just nice accuracy from the veteran quarterback. Played on every team but the Edmonton Eskimos, because Patrick Watson's coming downhill on the outside shoulder. If he throws that high and outside, Watkins has a shot at it.
Alouettes get onto the Edmonton side of half. And pressure on, and down goes Glenn. And Odell Willis, who had 4 sacks against Montreal last year, chalks up one here in the 74th of his career.
Odell Willis in that stand-up rush-in position. And he comes up, fights off the cut block. That's the downside for a tackle. If Jacob Ruby stays up, he may have a chance to hold him off. But Mike Benavides gets the sack from Odell Willis when he beat the cut block.
Haven't talked about it a lot, but this Edmonton defense looking a little stouter. 2nd and long. They'll dump it off to Rutley, and Dion Lacey's there with help from Marcel Young. There is a flag, though, in the Montreal backfield. Was there a late hit on Kevin Glenn?
Major foul, roughing the passer. Edmonton number 90. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down. We'll have one more play in the quarter.
Costly keeps the Alouette offense on the field, and they march into field goal range with a first down at the Edmonton 40.
Let's take a look here on a stunt from Mondo Sewell.
Ball was gone.
New set of downs and into Edmonton territory. That was a big one.
So it extends the quarter for one more play.
And it puts Montreal in field goal range if they don't get another inch here.
Rutley trying to get to the outside and gets about 5 yards. So that's the end of the 3rd quarter. We've got a 4-point game at halftime. We had 54-40 entertaining the fans at Commonwealth. Check the stats after 3 quarters of football. You get the feeling this should be a bigger Edmonton lead, but Alouettes have hung around and are right in it.
Yeah, those last 2 columns where you look at the turnovers, first of all, 2-0, but it's not just the 2 turnovers for Edmonton, it's where they turn the ball over. 1 for 4 in the green zone, 2 fumbles down on the 1-yard line. That's the difference.
And time of possession, 29:55, almost 30 minutes to 15 in favor of Edmonton. And yet here's Kevin Glenn with a 2nd down at the Edmonton 35-yard line.
It's one of those games that if Montreal can win it, they walk out of here saying we stole one. But they've weathered the storm of the 1st quarter and now have a chance here.
Go ahead. 2nd and 5. Run from the pocket, up for grabs, incomplete. Intended for the fullback, J.C. Beaulieu. This pressure from Marcus Howard.
Now, they didn't have to play much in that first quarter. In fact, it was only a couple of minutes, but this is maybe the best defensive performance of the season. The best 3 quarters in a row anyway for the Edmonton defense. Not giving up a major tonight.
So Farah trying to make it a 1-point game from 42 yards out. And he's got another. So Farah, 4 for 5 after all the trouble Boris Beatty had. Mentioned 2 for 7 for Beatty in his last 3, and the 2 were from 13 and 18 yards out. So he was really stuck in the mud and left Jim Pop no choice but to make a change.
Yeah, that one missed by Farah was a long
53?
bomb, 53-yarder at the end of the half. So that one won't go really even on the record. That was a desperation kick, and you're now looking at a guy who's won the job at least for another week.
So we've got a real battle down the stretch here. 2 teams looking for their 3rd win of the season. John White. Good run on first down once again. The Eskimos 1-3 at home here this year.
Near the 43-yard line, 2nd and 2.
After being 15-3 in the previous 2 years. Lost 1 in overtime here. Their win in overtime, and then the meltdown against Hamilton with the big lead that seemed to turn their season the wrong way.
Well, and they've had Montreal's number too of late. Last 4 games, wins by Edmonton, although in fairness to the Alouettes, they went through a lot of quarterbacks through that time because Anthony Calvillo over the last 4 games not playing, had retired.
Prior to that with Calvillo, they'd won 8 in a row against Edmonton.
Yeah.
1st and 10 for Riley. Short drop. There's Getzlaff. First man misses. Second man misses. And he's brought down at midfield. First catch for Getzlaff. Nets 9.
The check down man to the wide field is Getzlaff. Just trying to use the entire width of the field, and a couple of nice moves to the inside, and you're gonna have to go short yardage. They've been pretty good there though. 9 for 9 coming in.
6 different receiver and plunge ahead for the first down.
And they did in that first half have a couple of close ones where Riley juggled the ball, but they'll move the chains here.
Wonder if this time of possession is going to start to show in the wear and tear on that Montreal defense.
Well, that's one of the reasons they've gone to 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers, is because those down linemen are the guys that start to suck for oxygen quicker than the athletes behind them.
Riley with time, loading it up, but Darius Bowman, the target, can't bring it down. There's Jonathan Mitzi in coverage.
That was a long, long throw, and if you wait too long on this one, it becomes, you got to throw it a mile, because Darius Bowman's in behind. Now he's got him. The ball came out a little late, and then it made Bowman sort of put the brakes on and try and come back to it, and allowed Jonathan Mincy to get back underneath it.
Auburn product gets the job done, forcing up 2nd and 10.
They come.
Riley behind, Getzlaff incomplete with Chip Cox on the scene. And the punt team comes on for Edmonton.
Kyrie Bear and Bear Woods coming on that blitz. So Riley's trying to get it underneath to Getzlaff, and then the game plan there is for Edmonton is for Getzlaff to try and make Chip Cox miss. Blitz was picked up pretty good.
Shaw short punt again on the run. It's Logan taking it. Just a 33-yard punt. Mike Miller, the special team tackle on the veteran Logan. 1-point game, and the Alouettes have the football when we come back. At Commonwealth, I'd like to say hello to all our fans south of the border watching on ESPN2. And a reminder, this is where Warren Moon started his legendary career. Qualifies as the worst segue of the night.
Hey, I loved it. You got me. Well, we got a 1-point game. I mean, this is Warren Moon. Outstanding career in both leagues.
Wasn't here long, but unforgettable.
5 straight championships for the Edmonton Eskimos, and that's what we talked about off the top. They're not used to losing 3 in a row, 4 in a row. It's in the balance here tonight to get a 4 in a row in this slump.
Or as we illustrated, 4 games at home.
Yeah.
Montreal's got other plans. Kevin Glenn, BJ Cunningham's got it. Boy, Kevin Glenn has threaded the needle to Cunningham more than once tonight.
Yeah, you're right. And Cunningham has made some tough catches. I mean, Glenn has put it where he's had to, without question. His accuracy's been excellent in a lot of these. But contested throws that BJ Cunningham has come up with, I would say this is a breakout game for Cunningham. That's his 4th catch tonight. Another big one.
4 for 87 on the first down. Glenn on a pump and goes to Nick Lewis. Midfield first down, upended by the safety, Neil King.
Uncle Nick with another catch over the middle.
Second catch of the night. 2 behind Donald Narcisse, your old teammate on the all-time list. 3 catches away from being number 6 all-time, but here's Rutley.
Oh, nice lateral cut there. Nice lateral cut by Brandon Rutley. It was taken care of at the point of attack, which is here. So he hits this and then bounces it. And watch just the vision and the lateral cut here from Brandon Rutley. Bounce, bounce, get outside on the edge, pick up what you can. He did that one on his own.
Gets 4 on his 10th carry of the night for 36. 2nd and 6. Logan in the backfield, release. Flag down, the pass is caught. Durant Carter came up with that. Let's sort out the flag as Glenn was under duress.
Signal against Montreal.
Well short of the first down, flag against.
Offside, Montreal number 85. That penalty be declined. 3rd down.
Against Cunningham, so the offside penalty declined. Kick team comes on, and now they'll ask Anthony Farah to kick to the corner. Alouettes looking for the pin. And this one inside the 10. Flag down though, and another penalty marker. No yards will be one of the calls, but there's more than one to sort out, and we'll get it for you when we come back. Mike Riley, a precarious 1-point lead. 8.5 left, 4th quarter on Thursday Night Football. We are professional grade. 15-yard, no yards penalty against Montreal, but countered by an illegal block against Koshi Mwamba that moves it up only 5. So Edmonton starts at their 14-yard line. Can't be feeling comfortable. Pressure on. Riley gets it away, batted down. The play made on the corner by Ethan Davis.
Took a little bit of time to develop, but Ethan Davis and Jonathan Mency are playing more aggressively as the game goes on. Early on, Ethan Davis had an interference call. That's Darrell Walker up at the top. He's going to be the guy he's trying to cover. Now, Walker's had a big game already. He's made his catches, but these guys are playing more aggressively on these corners, and they're starting to come back and make some plays of their own.
2nd and 10. Here they come. John Bowman can't bring him down. Riley stays upright and looks to run for the first down, and what a play by Mike Riley. That's vintage Riley for 11 and a critical first down.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Chris, that it can't be comfortable for a team who's lost 3 in a row, be deep in their own end. We're into the 4th quarter, and Mike Riley right here gets it at the end. He's going to get out and around and step up here and beat the tackle of John Bowman, which is saying something in itself. But watch the effort at the end. Right there to go get that first.
8 carries, 34 for Riley tonight. Throws the out. Caught there by Getzlaff. Bumped out by Johnson.
Sorry, Chris, you mentioned that it can't be comfortable for him, and you're right. This is where, self-doubt starts to creep into your mind. You've lost 3 in a row, a couple of them at home. You're deep in your own end, and this is where you expect your leaders to step up, make that play, that extra effort to go and say, guys, this is where we take control of the game. That's the message that Riley was trying to send. Now, can they get another one?
Second and medium again. Out of the backfield, White runs the football. Venable makes him pay. White looks for a flag. None on the field, and the punt team has to come on.
It didn't look like a real difficult catch. You see White he's coming right at you. Just sort of faded away from that. That would have moved the chains.
So the 5th punt in the second half. The other possession, a fumble on the goal line. And if you've joined us late, twice tonight, the Alouettes have recovered Eskimo fumbles on the 1. Short kick, Shaw's had some trouble. That's just 31 yards as Logan gets tackled around the 50-yard line. Blair Smith was down in a hurry, but great field position. Alouettes down by 1, under 7 to play. 21st. Our coverage begins at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific on TSN 1, 3, and 4. Montreal with the football, first down, starting at their 51-yard line. Glenn taking a look deep, flag comes down, and Marcus Howard can't drag Glenn down. He's able to throw it away at the Alouette bench to avoid the sack, but it's a holding call nonetheless against the Owls.
Well, this play didn't have much chance from the get-go because it started with either Glenn going the wrong direction or Brandon Rutley going the wrong
block,
direction.
hands to the face. Montreal number 69, 10-yard penalty.
That's another one.
First down repeated.
Jacob Ruby.
Supposed to be a play-action fake here to Rutley. Rutley goes this way, and Glenn spins out that way, so it didn't start correctly from the get-go. And then it collapsed from there, and then you could see the right hand of Jacob Ruby up in the face of Marcus Howard.
Lengthens the field, 1st and 20, and they screen it to Rutley, and he is dragged down on a sure tackle by Dion Lacey. Alouettes under 300 yards of offense last week in their loss against BC, and at around 240 yards so far tonight. With Anthony Calvillo calling the plays. See what he's got on 2nd and 16. Franklin, and the pass incomplete. He wanted Cunningham, who couldn't make the catch right at the first down stick.
Yeah, it's first mistake, you could say, although it's a tough one. I think when B.J. Cunningham came out of his break here, he stumbled a little bit, and then he had problems locating the football again. He's going to run that comeback right here. And number 85, watch him at the top of the road here. He's just going to break down here, stomp his feet, get his head around, and right through his hands.
Here's Doe, surrounded, forced out by Chris Aki. 47-yard punt by Farrup. So down to 5:13 to go. Eskimos have a safety and nothing else to show on the scoreboard in the second half in what potentially could be the lowest scoring game of the season so far.
Jason Moss got to be very happy with the play of his defense tonight. They've struggled this year, but are playing their best game, and the Montreal defense has been good all year.
Mike Riley with 25 completions. He's gone over 1,000 completions as an Edmonton quarterback here tonight. Got another one to Bowman, trying to work his way outside, and a flag comes down. Saw the Bowman straight arm. Was there a face mask one way or the other?
Major foul, face mask. Montreal number 35, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So it is Henderson who disagrees with the call.
Well, one thing that doesn't lie is the replay. So let's take a look and see if it's Henderson. Darius Bowman gets his hand up there, and so does Greg Henderson.
So that moves it up to the 47. Riley for John White, and that sealed a bit on him. Incomplete.
John White out of the backfield looking for a deep ball from Montreal. The pass is incomplete, second down.
Be 2nd and 10. John White's caught 4 tonight out of the backfield.
You know, and I've got the sense in this second half, Chris, that Mike Riley has been wanting to throw that deep ball. I mean, he keeps looking downfield. Darrell Walker, Darius Bowman can't find him. He can't get that deep ball executed. This young secondary has played a great second half, even though Walker has 100 yards and Bowman has 90.
Which is a usual day at the office for them against any secondary in the league.
Right, and they've combined for 16 catches, but Riley keeps wanting to try and get that big, deep strike, and he just can't get it.
It's like we've got a challenge here.
Edmonton is challenging that there was roughing the passer on the play. We'll review the play.
Well, they've had one successful challenge on this type of play tonight.
Well, and I was wondering if Jason Moss was going to challenge the play at the other end. Jonathan Mincy with that little bump when I was thinking that wasn't going to be the call. Let's see Kyrisse Bear here up at the top. Was there, ball gone. Well,
from that angle, was that the head or the shoulder?
Yeah, tough to tell if he got the shoulder. Well, this will be better. Here he is right here.
Tom Valesi has a good angle on it. Hard to say.
Follows the ball there. So I thought they might have been challenging that little bump, which shouldn't be. Here's maybe the best look. The way his head turned. I mean, you can't guess at it. You either have to see it. The standard is to see it or not see it.
And the referee is right there with the best angle.
In other words, you can't speculate. Well, it looked like his head moved, so maybe he did. We can't see it, but maybe he did because Riley's head kind of moved to the side.
After review, there's no roughing the passer.
Yeah.
The ruling on the field stands. Edmonton will lose their last timeout.
So that's costly because that's their last challenge of the night.
Well, and in fairness to Jason Moss, we showed you the angles that we had, and from that, you couldn't tell whether or not it grazed the helmet or not. We've seen one of those calls on Kyrus Hebert tonight where it was just sort of a bump across the helmet that was called and overturned.
The first one that was successful, you saw Mike Riley ask the coach to challenge. I'm not sure he did there. Second down and a big conversion to a Darius Bowman over 100 and across midfield with a big Edmonton first down.
John Bowman is going to stunt, come down Main Street on Mike Riley, and he has to stand in there and take this one with one of the premier pass rushers in the league coming right down the middle. He's going to step in, just negotiate the pocket a little bit and get it to Darius Bowman.
8th catch, 102 for Bowman, 5th 100-yard game of the year. Now Riley throwing for Walker. And the dynamic duo back-to-back. Walker got away. Down the sidelines of Bear Woods. Well, he stepped out just before Woods made sure, but a short gain turns out to be a 31-yard big play for the Eskimos offense.
Remember that play we showed you where Winston Venable hit Riley in the first quarter? Well, he's got a free run again, but this time Riley gets it out of there in time, throwing it out to the out route to Darrell Walker. Darrell Walker makes his man miss. That's Jonathan Mincy, and away he goes.
Timeout, Montreal. Timer, could you please reset the clock to 3:21?
Here are the numbers for him tonight. And now at 799 yards in the first 7 games of the season.
And that's the first play that this young secondary in the second half, that first big play they've given up. There's Venable coming off the edge. Early in the game in the first quarter, he put the hit on Riley, and they didn't complete that pass. This time Riley beats him to it. He knows he's got a free man that won't be blocked and just has to get it to Walker. Walker did the rest. That looked like another little signal there. Walker back to Riley.
1st and 10. Back in the red zone. Bowman's got it. Javon Johnson there. And he'll drag Bowman down after 5.
Mike Riley completes here before Darius Bowman. And fans, Darius Bowman has now gone over.
Javon Johnson, the veteran, taking a look at that clock to see how much time they have. And
statistician Dave Moyer telling us that should get Mike Riley right to 300 on the night. So for the 6th time in 7 games. Second down, short drop, and the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Doesn't reach Corey Watson. They'll have to settle for 3, and that Alouette defense bent, but comes up with a stop. Going down to the wire tonight as we hit the 3-minute warning. Veteran John Bowman forces the field goal unit on for Edmonton. Is presented by The Brick, saving you more. Welcome back to the Brick Field at Commonwealth Stadium. Defensive, physical battle here tonight. Alouettes have not been in a close game decided by 4 points or less. Looks like they're headed that way tonight. But onto the field comes Sean White to try and give the Eskimos a 4-point lead. A 22-yard field goal. And for some reason, we're going to reset.
Timer, could you please reset the clock to 2:40?
Jason Moss isn't sure why, but...
Well, and I think the head coach is a little concerned that his veteran kicker, Sean White's got to think about this even a little bit longer, although it should be pretty much a chip shot for him.
winding it down as much as they can. And he does put it through. So it is 16-12. Eskimos with the lead.
Those tough on the field deserve a truck that's tough on the road. The 2016 GMC Sierra.
Anthony Calvillo and Kevin Glenn have combined for almost 130,000 passing yards. And they've got 218 to put together a drive here against Mike Benavides' defense that are playing their best game of the 2016 season. What do they draw up for Kevin Glenn? And again, it's been a quiet night for Deron Carter. It's been a quiet night for Nick Lewis. B.J. Cunningham has been a target that Glenn has been looking for, and this guy's another factor.
One big play away. Short kickoff. It's Vaughn Martin. And he gets taken down quickly by Mike Miller. Didn't know they brought him in from the NFL to return kicks.
Well, and Vaughn Martin wanted this ball. This wasn't, you know, Logan's calling. I guarantee you, Stephon Logan right now said, I got it, we're good. No, I'm going to take that one. I got it, this one.
I'm not sure that's the right call.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell him.
No, and in meetings, you know, they'll remind him, let's let the little guy with all that speed catch it.
Like Michael Klassen was shaken up. I believe it's, yes, number 90.
Well, Patrick Watkins has been matched up on Carter quite often in this game, and when he hasn't been, when Carter's played away from Watkins to the field, they played Edmonton a little more zone looks where their halfbacks are over the top, a couple of double teams where they're playing two on them. Marcel Young's been high a couple times and Gord Parks. So that's how they've been handling 89, but there's still time, and he is that tremendous athlete with the great wingspan.
While we have this opportunity, a reminder, Friday Night Football tomorrow from BMO. 7:30 Eastern, the Surging Bombers against the 4-2 Argos on TSN 1, 3, 4, and 5. And we're available in 4K.
Now, I'm not suggesting either, Chris, that, you know, Kevin Glenn should just launch a couple here deep to Deron Carter and just take his chances. He's got lots of time to run his offense here and even sprinkle in a run or two or a screen or two to Brandon Rutley. Again, it's been a quiet night for Carter, quiet night for Lewis.
And unless they explode in the final 2 minutes plus, it'll be the 5th time this offense has been held 20 points or less in a game this season. And Michael Klassen getting looked at, and they were concerned enough to bring out the Eskimo athletic staff as well. A right ankle problem, I believe. And so they've called for the cart here as he gets caught up in the wash.
Yeah, you see 90 right in the middle of the screen there, and I think Vaughn Martin rolls on the back of his legs. You just see him go down to the right. And keep in mind now that if you're just joining us, we've talked about it early in the game that there was some issues reported and talked about today in the Montreal locker room after the loss to the BC Lions, and players and Jim Popp had to answer all those questions when Popp tried to send the message that it's a privilege to play pro football and to go out and make sure you're prepared. And there was quite the, you know, I think people were looking to see how this Alouette team would come out of the locker room. Would they fold on the road in Edmonton? I think no matter what the outcome here tonight, they came together and have battled hard. A couple of fumbles generated down on the goal line.
I think what we've seen is what people expected from the Alouettes this year. Good defense.
Yep.
And an offense that without S.J. Green, Kenny Stafford, and Terrell Sutton, Mike struggle a little bit, and Mike Benavides' defense has had something to say about that as well tonight.
But it didn't exactly what they've been, right, Chris? And I think you're bang on. And so it wasn't that all this or this turmoil or this discussion was going to pull this apart. Now, Mike Benavides getting the best effort he's got all year from an Edmonton defense that's starting to come together.
Klassen gets a ride to the dressing room, unfortunately.
15-year veteran, almost 50,000 yards passing, and Kevin Glenn has it right where he wants it.
Kind of drive that can turn the season around.
Absolutely. The ball in your hands, enough time on the clock to run your offense, and a one-possession game.
From their 34 they start, but Glenn has Cunningham open, can't make the catch. Would have been a tough one as Glenn throws high.
Yeah, and he's been pretty accurate tonight, especially to Cunningham. Cunningham had found the spot in that corner, and he was open. Missed by the quarterback.
Cunningham's been the favorite target tonight, 4 for 88. Need 10. And back that way, and Cunningham the catch gets tossed down by Lacey, and they're going to flag Lacey for the ragdoll tackle.
That's going to be an unnecessary roughness call on Dion Lacey.
Looks like the spot was initially enough for the first down anyway, but they're going to tag on yardage.
Seen this called before this season.
Major foul, suplex tackle. Edmonton number 40, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's a wrestling term right there, wrestling term. But it's a costly one. Tacking on the yardage.
And that puts the ball in Edmonton territory, down to the Eskimo 51. From the pocket underneath. It's Carter, surrounded, not going anywhere.
Linebacker core for Edmonton right now is obviously backed up a little bit. They're about 6 yards off the line of scrimmage, and Glenn has time to throw these underneath routes and continue to move the chains. He doesn't have to try and throw it into traffic. See, that second row is backed up a little bit. 2nd and 4. Hit it off, Rutley, broken tackle, and is going to be close. I think he's got it.
And first contact was just beyond the line of scrimmage.
It looked like to me that Kevin Glenn immediately regretted giving the ball. In fact, I'm not sure he meant to. It may have been Brandon Rutley taking it from him.
Rutley knew what he was doing. He got there. 100 seconds left. And the Alouettes have a first set of downs. Wide side, Carter again, and Watkins couldn't bring him down. And now Carter wanted to get back out of bounds, but it's close to a first down.
Now you like the second move, and you like him to try and make something happen and create, but Deron Carter's got to be reminded to keep that clock in mind. If you get anywhere near that first down stick and you've got Edmonton Eskimo defenders surrounding you, get out of bounds and save some time.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
Of course, at 1:24, you don't want to leave too much time on the clock if you do score.
That's true. That's true. Let's take a look. They're just reviewing as to whether or not Carter stepped out of bounds before he picked up a few extra yards there. We can take another look. Like that foot's in bounds. He's okay there. Maybe the heel.
Must have been on the balance beam. Nice work to stay in bounds.
Another look at it from a different angle. I think he was fine on those first 2 steps. It's that heel to the left foot.
Of course, he's the kind of guy that
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The play stands as called.
He can make one or two miss, and there on that second look, it is close, isn't it?
But there is two officials looking right down that line, and they got the call.
Got the first down with 1:20 to go. Pressure, Glenn, picked off, J.C. Sherritt had a touchdown last week. His first of the CFL, racing for the end zone, and the ball came out, and the Alouettes, I think, get it back. It is Alouette football, as J.C. Sherritt looked like he was going to seal the deal, but it's not done yet.
J.C. Sherritt, and I had just mentioned that Glenn was going to be able to throw it underneath these linebackers because they were dropping. Sherritt just hop steps and then jumps the route.
Third interception of the year. He took one back for a touchdown on a 43-yard return. What a play by Corbin Lutz, who has 4.4 speed and keeps the Alouettes alive. Wow.
Alive, but a lot more grass in front of them now.
Yeah, now you better get out of bounds. 104 yards away from where they need to be. And Glenn looking for a lot of it here. Overthrows. That's where Glenn's looking for Milt Stegall, isn't he? It's about the exact same spot.
Second down.
Well, a reload, 2nd and 10.
J.C. Sherritt's got to be still trying to just catch his breath.
Yeah. By the way, that's the first interception thrown by Glenn in 3 games. From his end zone. Over the middle, that's intercepted. Dion Lacey's got it. And he's in for a score. Touchdown, Edmonton.
Game, set, match.
Third defensive touchdown of the year for the Eskimos. And the beleaguered defense are heroes tonight.
Mike Benavides, the defensive coordinator, has been asked for 5 straight weeks what's going on with this defense, and he's been explaining that even with Dion Lacey, he's a new starter to the defense. A great special teams player last year in their Grey Cup year, but starting for the first time at linebacker, and it was going to take time for this team to gel. This was their best game of the year.
John White adds the convert. 23-12 here in the final minute.
And Dion Lacey makes a play. His partner, J.C. Sherritt, makes a play that saves the fact that he got that penalty for the ragdoll tackle. But jumps that route. Glenn tries to go across the middle for the 2nd straight time. Well, it wasn't 2nd straight. He tried that deep route, but
went from the suplex tackle to the knockout punch. And the Eskimos' 3-game losing streak is about to come to an end.
That's back-to-back now for Montreal, losing to BC, and they have to play in Ottawa, Winnipeg, and then versus Ottawa in Montreal. So,
not bad.
A couple of Eastern Division matchups there.
Logan. And we'll Logan steps out just shy of the 40. Time now for the Nissan Titan Player of the Game, brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
You know, in games like this, you could go to the quarterback who delivered the ball. You could go to the other receiver who was almost there. But when you get into double figures and catches over 100 yards and a big play, a broken tackle in key moments, got to go with Darrell Walker.
And what's remarkable, now the second best 7-game start to a season in the history of the league. Only former Alouette Hal Patterson with more yards than Walker. After 7 games, Nick Lewis cut down on a tackle by Kenny Ladler. But Darrell Walker at 799 yards in the first 7 weeks.
Stand up, baby.
Now bumps it outside. Sideline catch for Giguère. Brings that down in Edmonton territory.
You know, and I just have to, just a small observation here watching Darrell Walker. He knows he's got the camera in his face, and he knows that he is the player of the game. We just named him. Our cameraman mentioned it. Humble, standing on the sideline.
My boy Tay-Tay right here.
Talking to some of his teammates.
They're in the love.
That's refreshing to me, Chris, to see not a whole bunch of, me, look at me. Just, hey, he goes about his job as a professional.
Here's Rutley out of the backfield, kicks it outside, and Ladler bumps him down. Ball came loose, but they're ruling the play down. But that's back-to-back tackles by Kenny Ladler.
Now that kind of
Timeout, Montreal.
Let's take a look at that again, see if looked like Rutley was down there. Well, it looked like Dion Lacey may had been sized up for the goat horns. And he got that ragdoll tackle penalty. Made amends for it.
8 tackles and an interception for Lacey on the night. Check it down to Rutley again, and Lacey is there again.
Well, it got the Alouettes on a drive, that penalty, and then after J.C. Sherritt changed field position with his pick, Lacey said, no, I'm not wearing the goat horns tonight. In fact, how about I finish the deal?
Last play of the game. Well, there is a flag. Rutley takes off and lowers the boom down around the 10-yard line. Watkins to stop. Penalty against Montreal will be declined.
Holding Montreal. That penalty is declined. The game is over.
And the hard-fought defensive battle fittingly ending with a interception for a touchdown from Dion Lacey to clinch it, as the Eskimos in their 3-game losing streak and win it 23-12. So the Eskimos now at 3 wins, 4 losses on the season. The Alouettes fall to 2-5. Again, a couple of interceptions in the final minute seal the deal. A reminder, Bombers, Argos tomorrow from BMO. Till then, so long from Commonwealth. Sports Center is next.